Hi, my name is Dave Cuthbertson from AssetGen, and I'm going to show you a quick tour around the AssetGen Connect Professional evaluation version. So that you're aware of the different modules we have within AssetGen, we'll be showing you the Connect system that looks after the fixed infrastructure, hardware, and reaches up into the virtual infrastructure. There is a separate video on the system mapping product, but I'll show you how there's some linking together as well. The version that we'll be covering will be the one that you've probably downloaded, which is the desktop version. Everything that you see here is also available in our multi-user server version, which also has the advantage of having a web browser, so that an unlimited number of web users can find and understand how the infrastructure comes together. The AssetGen Connect system looks to combine all the physical changes, such as where things are, the reservation of space in racks for projects, how things connect together, with all of the various trusted sources you may already have, such as spreadsheets, discovery systems, Word documents, recovery plans, and to try and take information from them. And from all of the physical and trusted sources, we then look to produce different types of outputs from a common source. So we can understand the capacity within our data centers and infrastructure. It could be space, but it could also be power and connectivity, the impact of changes, and we can also produce various types of Excel extracts for custom reporting and to help kickstart projects to begin with. You can also generate various types of visual outputs such as floor and rack diagrams, network diagrams, all from the same system. So what we'll now do is we'll now log into AssetGen, and I'll show you actually how you get some of these outputs and how it all comes together. To start with, we log in as admin. If you click on the Viewer button, you'll see the infrastructure hierarchy, and I recommend you drop down the most recently used list and pick on server Win001. This shows that this server is in a cabinet 0103. If I click on that cabinet, I have various information sets about the cabinet, its height. We can customize various attributes and save information on anything to do with the cabinet, in this case how its power is fed and the function of the cabinet. We can associate various documents, external trusted sources. In this case I've got some photographs. And we also have a live up-to-date view of the cabinet so we can see where we have space. And if I hover over any of these items, you can see we have server Win001. If I do a right click, this will hyperlink us to that component that we see in the rack. And here we are at server Win001. As a device, we have various drop-down boxes and fields to position a device. And we can also associate various attributes on a per device basis. If you wish to change any of these, it's very simple. You just click on the attribute, change its value, and then save this. And this now forms not just part of our audit trail, but also this has now updated the value for that server. Against the server, as with the cabinets, we can associate various documents. We can associate various IP addresses with various ports and connections. Every component can have some local notes which may help people understand its history or its purpose. If you want to understand how the server is connected, clicking this tab will trace all the connectivity of that server to the endpoints. And so here you can see that we've got a number of connections that connect into some SAN controllers and some switches. And if you wish to understand any more in any detail, we can then go and click on a particular port. So if I look at Ethernet 01, this will then allow us to do a port trace, and this is showing that this server goes through a couple of patch panels and terminates on switch number 6, port 13. All of these are hyperlinked, so if we click on any of these, such as this switch here, this will now take us to that switch, which we can see is now in cabinet 201. I can do exactly the same thing. The menu system is the same for every component, so I can now do a port trace on the whole switch. So this is everything that's connected to that switch, and I can go back to the server on Ethernet port 001. Very simple and easy to understand connectivity of any sort. The Impact Analysis tab links into our system mapping product so that we can understand above the hardware level potential impacts. So in this case, if you want to select the business impact and then press this blue arrow, this will then run an impact analysis, and this tells us that these 4 different business services could be impacted by a change to that server. And then finally, the audit log here has a history of all the changes. There you can see we changed the IP address, but also any changes to connections. So you have a complete audit trail of every component and any changes within the whole system. I'll just show you the menu options so that you can get some familiarity and you can run through them yourself. So just to step through them all, search allows us to find equipment and also to search for various cables in case we find a cable with a label on it and want to know what's connected to it. We've seen the viewer there. Connections allow us to connect together our infrastructure in both backbone cabling, patching, power, so that we can then meet all the different types of ways that the infrastructure is evolved. Diagrams allow us to actually create Visio diagrams of both racks and floor plans, architecture diagrams, and also topology and network diagrams. The planning features allow us to search and find resources so we don't have to run reports for available space, and also the batch impact analysis allows us to see the impact of multiple changes, like for instance upgrading all our network switches and what servers or systems will be impacted. Reports has various standard reports which you can then customize and then produce your own outputs on both equipment, cabinets, port tracing. There's many there in addition to all of other reporting that we have. The tools menu allows us to change and reconfigure the whole system. I suggest you don't do any of this, but as you have a fully functioning version there if you wish to try putting in some of your own data. Utilities allow us to both import and export data. The export facility, for instance, will create spreadsheet outputs of our cabinets if we wish to understand custom reports or do it by customer, the amount of power that customers are taking, or inventory of equipment. And I hope that sort of gives you just a quick overview. What we'll now do is we'll just run through a quick exercise just to show you how simple the system is. If I click on Viewer, what I'm going to do is add a new server to that same cabinet. So if I click and go into server Win001, to add a new server, there's various ways of doing this. The quickest way is to just create a new device. So I'll call this new server. We'll give it a type, and this will then associate various types of data with this. So this is a new Windows server. I can put in its status because we may have a lifecycle flow. I can then give it start position, which in this case is position 46. It's 2U high, and I'll now save this. If everything is okay, this is now saved this. We will now see the servers in cabinet 103. If I click on cabinet 103 and I look at the rack diagram, we can now see that we have our new server installed. If I wish to produce a Visio diagram with this to show somebody where to put it, I can click on the diagrams function, click on cabinets, and then I'll open up the cabinet that we just worked on, cabinet 0103. Give a title, and then hit draw. And that will draw a Visio diagram of the rack as it currently looks. And there's the rack, and there's our new server installed. Nice, quick, easy way. If you wish to do more than one rack, you just click there. Or in fact, if I did that, that would do the whole computer room. So I hope that sort of gives you an idea of the simplicity and the ease of use of the system and how you can quickly plan and also create operational documentation of your system. And please contact us if you want to understand the different types of versions, their pricing, and any training implementation issues.